Okay, so today we're going to talk about quadratic equations. So remember, a quadratic equation in X is an equation that can be written in the general form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a, b, and c are real numbers and a does not equal 0. So we're going to go through the various methods in which we can solve quadratic equations. The first one we're going to look at is by factoring, and this uses the zero product property, which says that if a times b equals 0, then either a equals 0 or b equals 0. So the key thing here is before solving by factoring, we want to make sure our equation is equal to 0. So on a, we have 4x squared minus 2x equals 0. So we're good with being equal to 0. And then since we only have two terms, we want to check, is there a GCF? So 4x squared minus 2x, those are both divisible by 2x. And then we're left with 2x minus 1 equals 0. And then we're going to set both of these expressions equal to 0. So we have 2x equals 0, or 2x minus 1 equals 0. So now to get x by itself, divide by 2, and x equals 0. Then 2x minus 1 equals 0, add the 1, 2x equals 1, divide by 2, and x equals 1/2. And there are two solutions. Okay, looking at b, we have 2x squared plus 7x equals 4. We want to make sure we're equal to 0, so I'm going to subtract this 4 first. And now we have 2x squared plus 7x minus 4 equals 0. And then we're going to use AC factoring. So a equals 2, and c equals negative 4. If we multiply those, we get negative 8. And we're looking for the factors of negative 8 that add to be 7, which would be 8 and negative 1. So we can rewrite this as 2x squared plus 8x minus 1x minus 4 equals 0. And then with 4 terms, we're going to factor by grouping. So 2x squared plus 8x can be divided by 2x, which we're left with x plus 4. And then negative 1x minus 4, we can factor out the negative 1, and we're left with x plus 4. Our parentheses match. So we have the quantity of x plus 4 times the quantity of 2x minus 1 equals 0. So there's our factored form, and now we want to break this up into our two equations. So we have x plus 4 equals 0, and 2x minus 1 equals 0. So if we subtract 4, we get x equals negative 4. And then 2x minus 1 equals 0, add 1. So 2x equals 1, divide by 2, and x equals 1/2. Our second method of solving quadratic equations is going to be by the square root property. So the square root property says that if u squared equals d, then to get rid of that square, we're going to square root both sides, but we need to make sure that we put in that plus or minus. Okay. So the key part, if u squared equals d, then u equals plus or minus the square root of d. So before we can take the square root, we want to make sure we isolate the x squared or the squared expression on one side of the equation. So looking at a, 3x squared minus 15 equals 0. We're going to start off with adding 15 to both sides. So 3x squared equals 15. Then divide by 3. So 3x squared equals 5. Divide both sides by 3. So x squared equals 5/3. That's not right.